how to use your social media in a positive way to build yourself, whether it's business wise or just personal branding. And the very first thing we talk about is tagging. Tagging important people and tagging important businesses to your work or your platform. And I'm talking about tagging people in relation to what you are producing. For example, let me get an example. Let's say you are a business motivational speaker, yeah? You post videos on Twitter and then you tag a company like Movit that deals in hand lotions and hair extensions. Like, there is no relation, yeah? So if you're tag people who are in relation to the content you are producing, because that's when it will be actually helpful to you. And remember, I think I was sharing with you sometime about how I was feeling pressured about the tagging situation.
Yes.
Because every time I used to post, I was tagging people. Tag like 20 people. And out of the 20, like 3% were like companies. Then I reached a point and I was like, I feel I'm getting a little bit too pushy. Yeah, people, maybe I'm stressing people out with tagging them over and over again. And that's when you told me about the Cardone.
Yes,
the 10x rule. So let us know about that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, 10x rule is usually it was a book written by Grant Cardone. I actually talked about it on one of my videos, Business Mentors from Afar, and he said that if you multiply your goal by 10, like if you say that I want to do, let's say I want to make this amount of money. Okay, money is a very skeptical thing to multiply, but generally, if you set a goal that is you think it is very big and you just make it a lot bigger, 10 times bigger, right? Like if you want to be the biggest journalist in Uganda, and then probably you're thinking, what if I want to be like the biggest in Africa, right? The truth is, when you 10x the goal, and then you also 10x your effort, Bambi, not only the goal,
but also your effort.
You'll be there fantasizing about your goal, but it's also 10xing the effort, right?
Yeah.
So when you also put a lot of energy, like 10 times more than you had planned, it's very easy for us to get lazy these days, but when you put 10 times the effort behind, you may not reach the goal that you wanted, but you'll be further along than what you had actually planned. The whole concept of if you aim for the stars, you may land on the moon. The truth is, most of these concepts they'll only make sense to you if you try them. Otherwise, it also sounds like just happy talk from people who have made it and stuff like that. Yeah, so on top of that, actually, now on the thing of tagging, there's tagging, then there's also posting, because sometimes we think, man, let's be frugal with our posts, let's create scarcity.
By the way, there's a time on my Instagram, I was feeling like over posting, so let me create some scarcity. People, I lost views, I lost followers. Never forget.
So actually, the truth is, I want to make a whole video about how things keep changing, like old concepts keep coming back. A long time ago, it was all about, in a business, it was all about make as much of a product as possible, make it as available as possible, and probably sell it at the cheapest price, and you make the most money. Then now people are saying that make few products and charge highly for them. Yeah, so eventually, the Apple II didn't also sell as much as, was it the Apple II or the Macintosh? One of them, it was also scarce, and it was also sold at a high price, but it was nothing like the iPhone of these days, where here they're hitting what 1 million iPhones plus. But then the whole point is, I think at a certain point in time, we will have to revisit that mentality, at least for some people, in trying that you can actually decide, especially for the internet. The amount of content on the internet is immense. There are 2.2 billion users on Facebook, then 1 billion TikTok, then God knows how many other billions.
People create accounts almost every day.
So, and people are posting every day. So it is very easy for you to get lost
in
the crowd, right? So now another of the business mentors from Afar, Gary Vaynerchuk of VaynerMedia. I believe most of these companies actually centered around social media. It's a whole thing like, you study the trends and make it work, because one of the things that he says is that actually you should be posting 20 pieces of content a day.
Have you heard that? 20 pieces per day.
Thing is, and he doesn't only say that that's what you should be doing, that's what he does. When I go on Instagram and I scroll thrice, I find 3 posts of Gary V, And then also when I go to what, let's say, YouTube, and I type Gary Vee, I'll see that he has posted so many things of late. And the fact is, by him overwhelming the internet with his content, right? He will, let's say, he will be visible very, very soon, much sooner than somebody who has put up 1, 2, 3, 4, in fact even 100, because if somebody is doing 20 pieces a day, they are going to hit 1 million at a certain point in time. And that's where the dicey topic of the algorithm comes in.
We'll be talking about the algorithm later in part 2 of this video. So that just answers the question, how much is too much tagging, or how much is too much posting? It's always, it will never be too much. Post as much as you can, tag as much as you can, because this internet is like overwhelmed with so much content. So the possibility of you appearing is higher when you post more. So for me personally, I think after you told me about that entire 10x rule and all that, I thought of what Swami Vivekananda said. He says something that says, stand up, be bold, be strong, take the whole responsibility on your shoulders, and know that you are the creator of your own destiny. So basically, if you don't post, if you don't tag, no one is going to do it for you. Who is going to go and look for you on internet? Nobody. So stand up, be bold. It's your responsibility to put yourself out there, so do it. So part 2 of building your social media is avoid shady engagements, or avoid baseless arguments or qualms on social media. I was talking about him off air, off the camera, and we were saying that people are actually attracted to more negativity than positivity. But then again, even though people are attracted to more negativity than positivity, I still feel like people want to associate themselves with more positive stuff, right?
Yeah, there's that whole thing. It's almost paradoxical. It's almost even hypocritical. Like,
it's very hypocritical.
We want to associate ourselves
with good things.
But when the internet is overflowing with bad things,
stuff,
that's where we'll go. The latest breakup, or which coup has happened. Like the most controversial things are the ones that will get clicks, and I really think like it's human nature, because I have also been guilty of that part of consuming where you go and you see a really, really intense headline and you're like, but what happened? After you've done your positive things for that day, you watch your videos, progress, you're putting effort, that stuff. Then you see a very controversial thing, who broke up with who, who did what, and you just have to click it, But yeah. The whole thing of us being, you find that maybe companies will want that they are not associated with bad things. And that tendency, especially on Twitter, I realized that Twitter, although I'm not a very big person on Twitter, and I think I'm going to be also, would I say people are going to make a backlash on me on Twitter? Well, you may not find me, but like the whole thing is, it's like a place where some people just go out to vent. They go with every, like, sometimes the feelings eventually go down, but there is the intensity of an emotion when it has begun, when you've just felt it, and you can just pick up the phone and power everything that you're feeling. And the truth is, let's say all this stuff is always going to be constantly visible, it's going to be constantly available. So once your emotions have passed, there's no erasing some of those things. And even
that people don't listen on Twitter. Here on Twitter, we do not delete. So whoever posts something, someone has already taken a screenshot before. By the time you delete it, they are reposting it for you.
I tell you. And then now there's the thing of now when you post on Twitter, and let's say your emotions will eventually like fade away, and probably it would not be in your habit to be somebody who is very, how do you call it, very abusive, very angry about certain things, because emotions are, let's say, they are human. They're just what you have. And eventually you feel them and they go. But then now there's also a compounding effect of emotions. There's a time when you're angry with something, you find other people who are angry with other things, and you just make so much anger, so much polarization. My God, just covered, you're all pissed, and it increases even that even end.
Talking about the whole thing of the internet doesn't forget. I was telling a friend of mine who was posting a lot of how do I say it, controversial information, And I get it, because we are kind of young, we feel like we have all that freedom of speech. But then, like, later on when you're applying for a job, they'll ask you for your social media handles, and they'll be scrolling through, and they're looking at the things you're posting, the things you're liking, the things you're retweeting, and they'll be like, I don't think this person is good for our company, because everyone else knows your social media as someone who is related to a lot of controversy and negativity. So be wise what you post. People are watching. Your future employers will be looking at that stuff, and it's going to affect you one way or the other. So those are the two main pointers of building your social media for your brand personally or for your business. When you get those two things straight, you are on the road to success.